video today is going to be about how to make a beam out of a log. There's other videos out there on this that have helped me, and I have one little trick that I want to show people that helped the one problem I've had, and that is when I don't totally freehand it. I follow a string, but I made that little doohickey there for leveling, to keep my saw level. So when before I start out, I can get my saw like that, cut for a little bit, and then re-level, and that's helped me be more accurate. So this is a log we just have finished this morning. I want to say it came out to 11-ish by 9. Came out pretty good. The chain's getting a little dull. As you can see, I follow a string. I put a string where I want to go, and I go 1 inch off and try to estimate that. And as long as your chain's all right and you keep it level, as long as your chain is sharp and you keep it level, it goes pretty well. So I'd start over on the new log. We harvested this one last winter. Skidded it over here in the snow. We've been leaving these dry. Now it's June, so we're turning them into beams. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to square off this end and then figure out how long of a piece. In this case, I want about 9 feet. I got a big nasty knot over here, so we're going to cut it off about here and make the best beam we can out of it. So that said, I'm going to go and cut that end off. Okay. So what we got here today is some Scotch pine. This area that we're at right now is an old Christmas tree farm of the 1950s or 60s. So this is probably about a 60-year-old Scotch pine, which are pretty ugly trees when they're growing up, but as they get bigger, there's some good lumber there. We're trying to thin out the area behind us here, get some younger growth in there. We have some trees that were leaners, some that were hit by lightning, so forth. So anyway, yeah, so this is Scotch pine. It's been drying for about 5 months, and so what I do like to do first is knock off a little bark, and now I try to figure out, we've been trying to make the beams. Our goal originally was 10 by 15, but they're not going to make it to that. We've been averaging about 9.5. So I'm going to look at this one, and I'm going to come 1 inch in. So I'm going to put my nail about right here. So when 9.5 is right here, I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's what we're trying for. And then we'll go do the same thing on the other side. So about there. I didn't knock the bark off in this case, but the bark wasn't too thick there. Okay, so I got some new string here. Pull it nice and taut. I wind it around the nail, one up, one down. Go under, so it kind of binds on itself. So if there's anything in the way, I knock that off with a hatchet, but in this case, it's nice clear sailing here. So that's gonna be my guideline. So my first cut, I'm at the border of wanting to change my chain. We hit a nail last week doing that big beam over there. Yeah, remember to pull your nails when you do this, because it'll tear up a chain pretty good. But I reground it. I put more of a chisel cut on it this time. They say it helps. Honestly, so far it really hasn't helped me much. The regular out of the box cut seemingly worked just as well. But this chain's getting pretty old, unevenly stretched, so I'm going to be changing out soon. But I'll start out trying with this one. So yeah, what I'm going to do, if you come around here, Tim, is, so when I get started here, is I'm watching this to get started, and then I don't try to go all the way through. I try to just go maybe an inch or two in, get a nice score line down there following that I can effortlessly then all I gotta do is watch my level from there on. I don't have to worry about the string. So with that said, I'll start out here. Okay, so there I got my score line in, and should be pretty close to within an inch off that that string. And I found that I end up varying, give myself plus or minus an eighth. It's pretty achievable. And in this case, I think I'm even closer than that, but I've been practicing today too. So yeah, so now the remainder is doing your plunge cutting. And again, I'm just using the tip of the chain, only having a few teeth contact at a time, and going a couple inches deep, moving on. And I'll probably make 4 or 5 passes before I'm done with this side. So we have the chains cutting all right yet, so I'll keep it on. just going around to the other side of the log, and the log is rocking a little bit now. I did make a V-notch in my dogs, and the one side anyway. I really should have done it in both to make the log stable, because that's one thing you gotta watch out for, is that your log doesn't shift. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this is the plastic wedges and get this thing level again. Okay, so now it's level again, and with that wedge in there on this side and the dog on the other, it's stable. So I'll reset up. Tim and I were just talking here, and you're probably wondering why we even need beams like this. So we're doing kind of a fun project here. We're going to build a full-size, well, more than full-size Roman catapult. It's you know, there's no exact drawings, but we're doing our best research to figure out how they could have done it. Granted, they didn't have chainsaws, but we're trying to make a catapult that will throw, you know, we'd like about 600 feet. We got a runway here behind Tim's house to shoot the thing at. This beam here is our biggest one so far. It's about almost 14 feet long. And I think it's 9.5 by, oh, I want to say it's like 14. Yeah, this one's 15 tall. And we got one more log that we can get another one like this out of. So those will be our two main beams. Everything else is smaller. We've got cross members, we've got gussets, we've got the striker plate. One thing we did also is there was an elm in his front yard that was killed by lightning, so we harvested that. It's starting to split up a little bit, but we'll figure something out there later. So we've a good member, but that's our ultimate goal. Is we're going to build a giant catapult that can. We're building a one-talent machine, which is 57 pounds. We're going to throw smaller stuff too, a couple different arms, but and we're building a smaller one as a test before we actually start joinery and all that on this to get all our math right. But that is our goal. So we're making catapult parts. So with that said, what we're trying to do is get as big of pieces as we can. Oops. Oh, that was good. I just hit my nail. But like on this one, we've been trying for 10. Usually it ends up being about 9.5. You gotta look at how it squares out. This one, yeah, I'll shoot for 9.5. We aren't worried a little bit if we have a little bit of wane. Like you can see on that log there that we have some wane. For our purposes, it's not. I'm sure the Romans didn't care if they had a little bit of wane on their members, so we're not going to worry either. So yeah, I'm going to cut this to. I'll put my nail at 9.5 off this side, so we end up with 9.5 width, and then we'll flip it. And I'm not going to show on the video the entire process. You've already seen one entire cut. You're just going to be doing the same thing 4 times, squaring it up, and we'll have a beam. So, all right. Okay, so now I got the string set. I've got 8.5 inches to the string, so that means I'm making a 9.5-inch beam. There's nothing special about 9.5 inches, but it just seems to be about where a lot of these are coming out to. We wanted 10, can't quite get 10. 9's a little bit, we can go down to 9 if we had to. So most of these logs are, I think our biggest one is 22-inch diameter, but most of them are probably 18. So I'll start off again. We won't show you the whole cut because you've seen that, but this time I'll remember to look at the level before I start out. we got that side done. Didn't go too bad. So now what I did, I should have showed it, but we did. We rolled the log over on its side. So now it's not level anymore. So we want to reestablish level. So I will do. Get in there. Now the log's getting light enough to actually manipulate. All right, that's pretty good. I'll double check this side. And that's pretty nice too. So, got a pretty good flat cut last time. They don't always come out perfectly flat. And this one over here, the chain was getting loose, it was getting dull, and it hit that nail and all that. And so I had to come by earlier today. We trimmed that. If we decide to later, we'll probably finish it with an adze or something like that, or a broad axe. But for now, it's like it's roughed in good enough. So I want to see how big of a piece I can get out. We need at least a 7-footer. We always like to cut a little bit extra if we can get it. So I can easily get a 12-inch piece out of this, nice and square, no wane. On that end, this side I'm not going to get it. You know what? I'll just go for 11 inches on this, and we probably won't use this last couple feet. There'll be some wane on the end, but it'll be good. Okay, so that's about as much as I can get out, and we'll just get what we can get. We know we want a good log out to about here, so that's where I guess the last couple feet I'm not going to worry about. Have a little bit of wane in there, but so I made it. Put the string at 9.5, so that'll give us a 10.5-inch beam. So that's our last pass, and we'll have a finished beam. All right, that's all there is to it. About 1.5 hours of chainsaw work and give it a beam.
More videos to come.
More videos to come, yep.